waking up. Um, you should have it. Morphine removes all pain the patient feels by reducing the patient's blood per BPM. It is used in conjunction with epinephrine to counter each other's effects. So you use if you're trying to use morphine to kill the amount of pain you have, you drop a morphine, that'll drop your blood pressure. Then you pop an epinephrine so that the blood pressure does not get dropped. That's how that works. Um, yeah. And then you've got adenosine hypoinjectors. You don't really need to worry about adenosine. Atropine doesn't even exist anymore, so don't worry about that. Adenosine is kind of like morphine, but it doesn't remove pain. It still lowers blood pressure. It lowers a person's heart rate and blood pressure to prevent any cardiac arrests. We used to use atropine to prevent cardiac arrest via overdose of the drugs, but atropine is no longer in New Age, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. Then you have your different types of bandages. You've got packing bandages. Actually, we'll start with the basic bandages. Basic bandages, they're the basic ones you can loot from dead humans, whatnot. They have a low chance of opening. Um, the coverage of any wound it sucks, and but they don't open up that badly. Medics will not use these because they're crap. Then you got packing bandages. They're like basic bandages, but they specialize in treating larger wounds, like large avulsions and all that. That's what they're good for. Then you have the quick clot bandages. They're not good at covering wounds, but they can last a very long time, which is why they're still used. Then you have its polar opposite, the elastic bandage. They're used the most and they can cover up the biggest of wounds, but the drawback is that they don't last very long. Then you have tourniquets. They stop the bleeding only on limbs, so you can only put it on your hands and legs. They can keep them there forever and they're reusable, but if you leave them on for too long, they can cause pain. They also block the use of drugs into an arm, and you cannot detect a person's blood pressure through them. But I don't know if it's true anymore. This was true of old Ace, but I in old Ace you were able to draw blood bags through the tourniquet. Don't know why. Um, Slide 8. Here's an item count of stuff that you'll need. So you can use any combination of any 25 bandages for your standard kits. You can have 2 tourniquets, standard. You can take 3 morphine and 3 epinephrine. And then you have splints. Splints come with new ace, alright? Basically, if you fall down far enough, in real life, you break bones. Splints are used to, um, you know, take care of the bones so that you don't bleed out drastically and die. Um, Covering up um any broken bones with splints is top priority because they are the quickest way for you to bleed out and die. The splints do not replace tourniquets in that they do not cover up and stop bleeding, but they stop the bleeding for bones, if that makes sense, kind of. Now we get into some medical vocabulary. So we can start with the CAS rep or ACER. Green is good to go. You do not have any injuries in any part of the body. Yellow is your limbs only have been damaged, but they are stabilized. Orange means your limbs have been damaged and they are not stabilized. Red means your limbs plus your head and or chest have been damaged. And blue means your limbs have all injuries have been dealt with. You just need stitching. So always keep that in mind. You're gonna be using that. We'll be using that a lot on the field. Then you can have an ACER report or ACER. A means ammunition check. C means casualty report, and E means equipment count. So Ammunition check is how many mags you have. Casualty report is a cast rep. An equipment count is how many like grenades you have, explosives, maybe other type of stuff like like plex rounds, that kind of thing. Next slide, slide 11. This has a table of contents for how long each bandage lasts. We have actually timed this. Waiting a half hour sucks. And then we have slide 12. Slide 12 is a standard medical procedure, regardless whether you're a medic or not. So, step one, check the area for danger. Look for anything that might be dangerous. Signs of fire, falling debris, or stupid B1s. AO is not safe. Attempt to move the casualty to a safer area to treat them, or eliminate the threat, whichever comes first. Do not put your life on the line. You should prioritize your safety, because you can't treat someone if you're dead. Step two, we have an acronym that I like to use. OAA. Observe the situation, see what's happening, assess what you need to do for it, see how you can solve the problem, and address any other problems, like what you have to do. Once you've completed OAA, attend to the patient within reason. If they're in a risky spot, either get some cover, make some cover, or fall back somehow. Once this patient has been stabilized, check um, maybe call for a CAS rep or ask a medic to call for a CAS rep and see if your fire team is injured. See if anyone else needs to be treated. Um, Now, in terms of treating a patient, here are the steps on slide 13. Perform OAA. Then you want to tourniquet all limbs that are damaged. Only the limbs that are damaged. Then check for a pulse. If there's a pulse, begin bandaging the head and or torso, whatever's injured, until the patient is stable. Then call a medic. If they do not have a pulse, call a medic immediately and start trying to perform CPR as needed. Um, Perform CPR at least two times in a row and check their pulse every second. I mean every 30 seconds while trying to deal with patching up their limbs. Only use You should only perform CPR as a last resort if there are no medics in the vicinity. Wow. Yeah, that's about it. Just the last few slides are really just things for you to note. Everything else is simple. Any questions, comments, concerns? Why am I looking up? Oh, hey, you're back. You're here. You have the wrong helmet. Ant, you mind saving your kit? Actually,